person imagine one? We know the name, but we don't know the face. We've never heard the voice, and we're not even sure this person truly exists. Yet this person, or perhaps just this name, has changed how millions of people around the world relate to money. The name, Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto is estimated to own around 1 million Bitcoin. And this is not a technology story. This is a story of silence. How did this story begin? Stories usually begin with a birth. But this one begins with a crisis. The year is 2008. The global financial system is on the brink of collapse. Banks are failing. People are losing their jobs, their homes, their savings. And in those very days, in a quiet corner of the internet, a 9-page PDF is shared. No shouting, no marketing, just a text. Its title, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. At the bottom, a name, Satoshi Nakamoto. And here's the first strange thing about this story. This text doesn't sell a solution. It doesn't promise anything. It asks a single question. Do we really have to trust money? Bitcoin was not a new idea, but it was the first working one. Satoshi understood cryptography, understood distributed systems, understood economics, and understood human psychology. When you examine the Bitcoin code, you see this. Extremely simple, extremely cautious. No obvious security flaws. Written at an academic level. This was not the work of an amateur programmer. Why does a person disappear? Bitcoin starts working. Nakamoto continues developing the software with other programmers until mid-2010. During this period, he hands over the source code repository and the network alert key to Gavin Andresen, and transfers several Bitcoin-related domain names to prominent members of the Bitcoin community. Shortly before leaving, he makes all remaining changes to the source code himself. Then he leaves the project he created. The code is being written. The system is standing. And Satoshi steps back. This is extremely strange behavior. Because throughout human history, inventors usually want recognition, to be remembered, control. But Satoshi wants none of these. Do you know what he holds? Approximately 1 million Bitcoin. A fortune beyond imagination at today's value. Yet those Bitcoins have never been spent, have never been moved. Not a single Satoshi has shifted. Which means this. If Satoshi wanted, he could be the richest person in the world. But he isn't. And this is where the story deepens. It raises unsettling questions. Why would someone who doesn't want money invent money? Why would a person who could have recognition, memory, and power want nothing at all? On December 12, 2010, Satoshi posts his final message on the bitcointalk.org forum. In his last message to the community, he writes, "There's more work to be done on DOS attacks. DOS attacks are cyber attacks intended to overload a network so it cannot provide services." And then, silence. Over time, curiosity grows. Who is Satoshi? Researchers appear. Journalists, cryptographers, academics. Some say, "I found him." Others say, "I'm very close." But notice this. No one ever ends their sentence with a period. no one reaches the end. Why? The closest name, Hal Finney. One of the strongest candidates for Satoshi Nakamoto is Hal Finney. Born in 1956, Hal Finney was an American programmer with a central role in digital currency and cryptography. He worked with Satoshi in Bitcoin's earliest days and was the recipient of the first Bitcoin transaction ever made. He was also an active member of the cypherpunk movement, advocating for privacy and secure digital money. He corresponded directly with Satoshi. He was the first person to use Bitcoin. In 2009, Hal Finney was diagnosed with ALS, a disease that gradually restricted his physical abilities. Despite this, he continued developing software and contributing to Bitcoin. Even after becoming wheelchair-bound, he kept working using a computer controlled by eye movements. His determination became an inspiration, both within the crypto community and among ALS patients worldwide. And until the end of his life, Hal Finney said one thing clearly: "I am not Satoshi." But he never said this. Satoshi's this person. And with that silence, he passed away. Another case, an ordinary engineer mistakenly identified as Satoshi. His life is turned upside down. And in those very days, the long-silent Satoshi account sends a single message: "I am not that person. Nothing more." As if someone whispered, "You knocked on the wrong door." Is knowing always a good thing? Here we must pause and ask a question. Do we really want to know everything? Because Bitcoin is not just software. It is a belief system. It works as long as people believe in it. And if tomorrow someone appeared with undeniable proof and said, "I am Satoshi," what would happen? Technically, perhaps nothing. But mentally, everything would change. Suddenly, what we thought was decentralized gains a center. What we thought was faceless gains a face. And the story breaks. Maybe Satoshi's greatest achievement wasn't inventing Bitcoin. Maybe the greatest achievement was stepping away. Sometimes, for a story to remain powerful, the narrator must remain silent. Some theories claim Satoshi was a group, an intelligence project, a Trojan horse released into the financial system. More extreme theories suggest Satoshi was an artificial intelligence, a self-evolving protocol, and perhaps the most striking of all, that Satoshi's identity was deliberately erased so it could never be known. Does this story have an end? This story has no ending. Maybe Satoshi is dead. Maybe alive. Maybe never existed at all. But perhaps the story is really telling us this. What matters is not who did it, but what they didn't do afterward. Satoshi chose not to hold power. And maybe that's why, instead of searching for him, trying to understand him is far more valuable. Some people leave traces. Some leave names. Satoshi Nakamoto left a void. And sometimes, a void tells more than anything else. Who do you think Satoshi is? Will this mystery ever be solved one day? We're looking forward to your thoughts and comments.